guys, you know the drill, so before I can start this video, I do want to mention the sponsor of this video, which I'm very excited to announce, is Audible. I've been wanting to work with Audible for a very long time. I have been using Audible since before I've even had a YouTube channel. So I'm really excited to let you guys know that if you go to my link, www.audible.com/HannahLee, or if you text Hannah Lee to 500-500, you guys can have your free trial version of Audible. Just lately I've been listening to a book called Circe, which is based on Greek mythology, and I've been doing it while I've been working on all these household projects, which is what the premise of this video is going to be. And it's totally just made all of the projects that I've been working on go kind of mindlessly, and I get to just follow the story while I do what I'm doing. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, again, the link is www.audible.com/HannahLee, or you can text Hannah Lee to 500-500, or the link is in the bio. Without further ado, let's move on to the video. I'm sitting in my bathroom. Like, literally, my toilet is right here, and my sink is right here. I'm gonna tell you about my bathroom today. Basically, I've been working on my bathroom for a while now, slowly making improvements, and as I've been going, I've been posting updates on my Instagram, so a lot of people have been asking me, oh, like, how did you do this? How did you do that? What is this brand? What is that? So I decided to just compile a video now that I've got my bathroom to about where I want it to be. And I'm just going to go over some of the things that I've done to improve the bathroom that are relatively easy, and for the most part, you could probably do in your own home or apartment, I would say, depending on how strict your landlord is. So I'm just gonna jump in. The first thing about this bathroom that I noticed when I walked in is that the tub, like the shower slash tub, it was a beige color. I just personally really like clean white looking materials, I guess. The beige tub, it just made it look dirty, dingy. It kind of even made the room a little less bright just because it was pulling a little bit of that light from the room. I actually did this in my last apartment as well, but Rust-Oleum makes a thing called tub and tile, which is basically a paint that you just use on the tub. It can be a ceramic tub if it's like, you know, stained and gross or whatever. It can be a plastic tub like mine was, and it works on all of it. Basically, I started by sanding it so that the paint had a surface to grab onto. And then if you're just doing the base portion, if you have like a ceramic tub that just has a base, in my last apartment I only needed 1 can of tub and tile stuff. This one I needed 2 cans, which was kind of a bummer because you need to do 2 coats. Basically the first coat is going to look really shitty, and then the second coat is what's going to make it look nice and finished and polished. So it was a bummer because I got the whole first coat done on the tub, and I live in this tiny town where there's nothing, you can't get anything. So I finished the first coat and then I was completely out of paint. So I actually ended up driving like I think it was like an hour and 40 minutes one way to go get this can of tub and tile, and I finished both coats that night. And then basically you just let it sit for, I think it's like 2 or 3 days, and then you can use it. But it turned out so beautiful and bright and white, and I love it. It says you can use it immediately, so it comes with 2 cans and you mix them. So you'll pour the little can into the big can and you'll mix them. And on the instructions it says you can use it right away, but I would highly recommend stirring it, and then waiting a little bit for it to like completely be mixed, because I started using it almost immediately and it was like water and it kind of ruined the first coat. I would just recommend making sure it's not like watery and it's really, really mixed in, and maybe let it sit for like 5 minutes so that it is really in there. But other than that, it went on fine, and it looks great now. So one of my favorite things in my bathroom in my old apartment was like having a shelf in the shower, because I hate those like metal things you put over the water spout thing. What is that called? Shower head. They always like, the suction cups come off, things get like fall all over. It's just like, I like it all on one level situation and just in one spot, not in random corners all over the shower and whatever. It changed my showering life. But this freaking bathroom had the walls that were plastic, which is a total bummer because obviously my mom didn't want me screwing into the plastic, which if it's your own home, maybe you'd be interested in doing if you want a shelf in your shower. You could probably make it watertight using some sort of like grommet or something. I'm not sure. I did not research that because my mom said no. But I worked around it. What I ended up doing, and my case was a little special, but I'll offer you solutions after I explain how I did it. But basically my sister is taking welding classes right now, which I know, really random, and she needed projects, and I had this idea that I could make like L brackets going from all the way up from the top of the plastic in the tub and have the shelf just hang way low down into the middle of the tub. So they would be like super long L brackets. So I gave her the dimensions that I needed, and she actually welded me L brackets to the dimensions that I like needed to make this stupid shelf thing. Yeah, so that was my solution. I put like there's a lip over the edge of the plastic tub piece, and then I just cut a piece of wood and screwed that into the wall, and then the L piece lay flush against the wood and the plastic, and then the shelf just hangs there. And obviously there's not that much on the shelf. It's like shampoo bottles, so it's not like I'm worried about the weight doing anything crazy with the wall or whatever. I will say the solution for this, if you do not have a sister who's taking welding classes right now, just go on Etsy and look up custom L bracket. There will turn up a lot of ironworking shops, and I think before I talked to my sister, I messaged a couple shops and finally stumbled upon one that was willing to do it. Obviously it's going to be more expensive. If you're doing it on Etsy, they're going to charge you a little bit more, so it really kind of ends up depending on how much you want to spend on a shower shelf. And as far as the wood goes for in there, I just got a piece of construction lumber. It's like the most basic pine, nothing special, and then I cut it down to the size that I want. What I did is I stained it my favorite color, which is Mission Oak, and then I finished it with polyurethane top coat. I don't know what that's called. I don't know what it was called, but basically it made it watertight, so I can put shampoo bottles and stuff on there and it's not going to affect it. It's the kind of stuff that you would use to coat like outdoor furniture, like patio furniture. So I did a couple coats on there, and now it is watertight, so it won't be rotting wood in the shower. And then the final touch in the shower, I put like a little hanging plant right above that shelf. And those are just hooks that you can buy. I think I got mine at Menards, or like you can get them at any garden store. They're just like, they're hooks that have a screw on the end, on the inside of the flat end, and they just screw right into the wall or the ceiling or whatever you're trying to hang something from. Next project, when we moved in here, my parents had only installed like this little tiny thin shelf above the toilet, and it was just one, and there was not enough space on it, and the wall just felt really blank, and it was like an awkward space. And so what I did is, again, I got that construction lumber, stained it Mission Oak, and I have 2 boards, and I installed those on the wall above the toilet. They're like kind of blank walls and awkward spacing, but it kind of just makes something really nice. And the mirror is across from it, so when you look in the mirror, you've got this nice like little shelving unit like behind your head. And what I did is I put obviously I'm a sucker for plants, so I put a big viney pothos plant, and so you can see that in the mirror behind you. Other than that, the final thing that I just finished this week, and I'm so excited about, is this wood shelf thing. So if you've been following along with my apartment transition, you know that Mav and I have been making our own furniture, or at least like tables and cabinet type deals, and that way it all kind of matches because we're buying the same kind of wood and then we're staining it the same colors. So I finally made this shelf, which there was like a small little metal shelf here that was really awkward and like didn't make any sense. It didn't it didn't give us any ability to store anything. And basically this area just felt really open and missing storage space essentially. So this week, while I was very sick with a cold, I built this. If you want to build your own furniture, it's not super hard. It just takes a little bit of time and the right tools. Luckily, my mom's fiance has a whole lot of tools in the basement, so we were lucky enough to get to use his shop. But if you were living in the cities, I would say if you wanted to build a shelf like this, all you would have to do is you would have to get all of your dimensions, and then I figure out all the boards that I need to buy, and then I go to the lumberyard and I get them. And if you were in the city, most lumberyards or hardware stores will cut boards for you, so if you don't have access to like a circle saw or a table saw or whatever, you can get your boards cut down, which is super useful if you are living in an apartment. Basically, I cut all my boards down, and then at my particular lumberyard, they do not have like super wide boards. They don't have a huge selection. So what I had to do is get 1x8s, and then I glued them together so that it's a wider depth, because one board was probably like this big, and then 2 boards makes it about this wide, right? So that's a lot more counter space to work with, and like depth for towels and whatnot to fit in there. I used wood glue and a lot of clamps to keep hold the wood glue together for about 30 minutes each. If you had the same problem, if you didn't have wide boards to work with and you needed to connect boards like this, I would say not as pretty alternative, but an alternative all the same would be to use small little blocks of wood about this big, probably about 1 inch wide and like this big, and screw them on underneath, connecting the 2 boards together. And I would do maybe 2 here, and then you would do that along the side boards as well, and the shelf, so hold all the boards together, and then you can make your shelf. And then I just used plywood in the back to make a backing, and then I stained it. That's about it. I stained it and I put it in here, and now we have a nice little shelf. So that is my solution. Otherwise, I would say go thrift for a cute little cabinet or something. If you're in a city, it might be easier for you to find things that work for your own apartment, but this is what I ended up doing. And then the final touch, I would say, for any bathroom that has been like my big thing, is adding plants. And that's just me, because I love plants. As you can see, I have filled this place with plants. The sky is just a bunch of cuttings and a jar I found at the thrift store. This used to be a giant monstera, and he's just been through a lot of different owners and a lot of different caregivers and a lot of like freezing cold winter travel to like get him up here to where I live now. And so he really didn't adjust well, and so we just chopped him down, and we're gonna let him renew himself on his own time. But I took his cuttings, the pieces that I cut off from him, and I have stuck them in these jars. Now I broke this guy. He's still alive and happy, but he is like just a little sad. Yeah, and then there's the pothos in the shower and the pothos on the shelf up there. And then there is this fiddle leaf plant. Fiddle leaf? Fig leaf? Fiddle leaf. I'm not actually sure. I think it's a fiddle leaf plant. Somebody tell me. I move a lot, so pots for plants are really frustrating because they're very big and they're very heavy and they're not easy to store. And so my solution has become baskets. And I'm not gonna lie, that is not my original idea. Like, I did not come up with that. That is a Pinterest idea all the way. But basically I just got plastic little trays for under the plant, and I just stick them in the bottom of the plant basket, and then I stick the plant in the basket. And they're easy to carry, and they're lightweight, and if you don't want the plant anymore and you like give them to a friend or something, you've got a cute little basket, and the basket is easy to store. You fold it down and all is good. And the camera battery is dying now, so I'm gonna say goodbye. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. If you have other videos you'd like to see, put it in the comments below. If you would like a more in-depth analysis on how to build your own furniture, let me know. I can make videos on that. Bye guys.